What's up, everyone? I've got Bobby back here, and we're talking about the Canon R5 that was announced recently. We'll go over some specs and chat about what it means for GH5 shooters like us, if anything. I don't know, but also Sony shooters and whatever else you might shoot on. If you're new here, my name is Caleb, and I've been doing freelance video production since 2012, and this channel is to help you make your own videos, whether you just started or you've been doing it for a while, whether you use the GH5 or any other camera. If that's something you're interested in, it'd be awesome if you hit that subscribe button. Hey, Bobby, I think the button's under you. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, give a little point down there.
It's right here.
Awesome.
It's right. It's right. It's
All right.
here.
I love it. Bobby, can you tell us a little bit about you?
Yo, what's up, guys? My name is Bobby Peacock, aka DJ Peacock. I am a freelance videographer. I shoot videos and I DJ as well. And that's me. So
Right on, man. It's good to have you back, as always. I love when you're on the channel. Make sure you
I
check out
appreciate it.
his info down in the description. So Bobby, I feel like the R5 is Canon's first mirrorless or
hmm
DSLR camera that is geared towards video shooters other than
hmm
their, cinema line of cameras. I felt like their
Yep.
mirrorless and DSLRs were like photo cameras that happen to have some video features on them and maybe not even great ones at that. What do you
Yeah.
think? What do you think about that statement?
So I think it's true. Obviously, they came out with the Canon EOS R, which was like, I mean, it was good, but when they first came out with it, I don't think it had 24p, right?
Yeah. Well,
So they,
I'm not sure about the R. That the R might have, but some of their other models have not
yeah,
had
like the
24.
RP for sure. And so I feel like this camera is very much video heavy. And I would go as far as to say that this camera is a camera that shoots videos but has the capacity to shoot photos. Those are my
Right on.
thoughts.
Yeah, I could go along with that. Totally go along with that.
Yeah.
Well, let's go over some of the specs that were officially announced on the Canon R5. What are some that kind of stuck out to you?
Yeah, for that, I got to bring out the trusty old iPad here.
You and your iPad.
Dude, iPads,
Love it.
Apple's killing it, man. All right, so some of the stuff that I have is obviously the big thing that everybody's super excited about is the AK RAW internal. I mean,
Hmm.
no like external recorder, all internal, which is super super dope. And then let's see the card slots. So
Dual card
SHD,
slots. Yep.
yep, and then CFX Express, and then the IBIS. IBIS
That
is
that's new for them, right?
that's new. Yep, completely new, and obviously 4K 120.
Oh
So
man, 4K 120. If you watched our video on the possible GH6, 4K 120 was the one thing that I wanted on the GH6. The only thing. Everything else could stay the same, but the one
yes,
thing,
4K
4K
120.
120
Yes,
at 422 10-bit in Canon log, right?
yes, which is crazy. I mean,
Yeah, that's
Canon
crazy.
already Canon already has a really really good color science. I think
Yep.
everybody is like, oh man, if I could have a camera and have the color science, I mean, it would be Canon. Their color profiles are absolutely amazing. So like that's actually really cool to be able to have 4K 120 plus in that 120 you have the autofocus as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yep,
autofocus. Canon autofocus absolutely crushes it. I mean, even
absolutely.
on even
Yeah.
on something like the M50, like you do some stuff, have done some stuff on the M50 before,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
right? Like
Yes.
even autofocus
Yeah,
on,
on the
which is a great
M50.
camera. M50 is a great camera,
Yep.
but autofocus just kills it.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing that they're adding to this camera, which is really, really cool, is that they're adding a new, I think it's called like a CMOS sensor.
Yeah, oh
So
yeah.
it's a brand new sensor that is being introduced into Canon's mirrorless system. So I don't know what that all entails, if it's a bigger
Right.
sensor or whatever, but that's kind of cool too. So
Yeah. And me personally, I'm not totally familiar with Canon cameras, what everything goes on in Canon cameras, but this is pretty impressive with what they've announced in this
Yeah.
R5. Let's go back to the 8K a little bit. Now, I have a
Yes.
question
Hmm.
about 8K.
Yeah.
How practical is 8K for
Yeah.
okay, so maybe for like the average user or, semi regular content creator. I mean, 8K?
Yeah. 8K, honestly, guys, this is all I'm gonna talk to all the peeps in YouTube land. Um 8K is, though it sounds like super cool that you're gonna be shooting in 8K, right? Like you can say, I got a camera that shoots in 8K. And for we shoot in 4K, and the only reason why I
Yep.
really shoot in 4K is because of the cropping. And I'm delivering
Mhm.
a lot of my stuff either in 4K or 1080. And so, to say you have a camera that shoots in 8K, when are you really gonna deliver something on YouTube or even to a client that's gonna be in 8K,
Right.
right?
Yeah, I mean even with my clients like I don't I don't know the last time I delivered in 4K. Like
Yeah.
they're not looking for 4K necessarily. They're looking for good quality production, but they're not necessarily looking for the 4K quite yet.
Mhm.
8K I think is just going to crash my MacBook. I don't know.
Yeah. And here's the reality. I was watching something on YouTube, a video on YouTube. I don't know who it was by. I think it was by Think Media. And they were talking about how um like 4K is just starting to be kind of the standard,
Hmm.
you know. 1080 is still in existence. And
Right.
so there's a lot of hype to like, oh, it has to be in 4K or it has to be in 6K or 8K, or I mean, there's cameras out there that shoot 1280. But here's the real, or not 1280, but 12K. But there are movies that are being shot in 1080, but they just have a super big sensor and stuff like that. That's the only difference. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. So 8K, I don't think I could handle 8K at
No,
this point,
no.
but that 4K 120 is
Cool.
getting me. I'm digging that with the announcement with this R5.
Yeah, absolutely. 4K 120. I mean, that's just crisp, buttery. Plus, having that autofocus
Oh
with
man.
the 4K, I mean, that is even better, I think.
Yeah. Could you imagine that on a gimbal?
I mean, that would just, you don't have to manual or rack focus or anything
Yeah.
like that. You just let the camera go and just touch it. Oh, I want to autofocus, and that's it.
Yeah.
So
That
yeah,
would be crazy, especially coming from the GH5 where autofocus is just basically non-existent and I
yep,
hardly ever use it. The
yeah,
only time I use it is if I'm on my Olympus lens. Is the only time I would
yeah,
ever use the autofocus. So I've got a question
yeah.
for you guys watching. Are you interested in trying out the Canon R5? Let me know why down in the comment section.
Yeah, I
Now,
will.
you have some fears maybe that come with the
Yes,
R5. Tell us a little
yes.
bit about that.
Yeah, so I was watching. I actually went on YouTube and watched the live event. I was gonna watch it the day that they had the live event, but Canon's website was being really funky, so
Mm.
so I watched it, and they talk about 4K 120, which is all great, but what about record limits? Now, I feel like
Right.
Canon, and it's hard to say this, but Canon is notorious for messing something up, for like releasing cameras without even having 24p in it,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah,
super crazy.
especially on that video side.
Yeah, on the video side, cameras
Yep, yep.
on the photo side, I mean,
Yep.
they do great work. Um,
Absolutely.
so that's my first thing is like, okay, it's cool that you can shoot 8K raw internally,
Yeah.
but it's not going to be cool
For
if you
for
only
like
have a
30
five
seconds?
minutes, yeah, or 5 minutes. You know what I mean? 30
Yeah, yeah.
seconds, yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Another fear um, is overheating.
Oh yeah.
um, Canon released one of their pocket cameras that shoots 4K, to kind of rival with the Sony RX 100 Mark 7, and that camera. is notorious, or yeah, it's notorious for overheating at
Mm,
4K. And so that's another fear. So hopefully there's like some kind of fan in it or something,
yeah.
especially if you're shooting in 8K.
Yeah, I was gonna
Um,
ask, did you see anything about any type of fan, kind of like the S1H?
no, I didn't. I mean, I watched they said their quote on their live stream thing was that there's more details to come.
Okay,
And so I feel like they were getting all the hype details out there, but they didn't give kind of like, oh, what about record limits? Because Canon's
gotcha.
notorious for that, you know?
Yep.
And so I feel like they're going to give, all the best stuff. And then all of a sudden, when it releases, now you're going to see all these
Firmware,
cons. Yeah. Yeah,
firmware
exactly.
updates.
Yeah. And I would say the biggest fear, sorry, I hit my mic. I
Hey,
think
that's all good.
the biggest fear that I have is the expense of shooting.
Mm,
And what I mean by that is, or even the expense of editing is
yeah,
like to take in 8K raw footage. I mean, that is demanding footage, you know?
absolutely.
I mean, even 4K, like if I shoot on 4K 10-bit on the GH5, that's demanding footage on my computer,
Yep.
um, where it's hard to work with. So I can work with like proxy files or whatever
Yep.
because I work in Final Cut. But it's one thing to say you have a camera that shoots 8K, but then to actually shoot it in 8K raw and then edit it. I mean, that's going to take time away from the import to the export to even the rendering. All
Yeah.
that stuff takes time. And in the business world, guys, like time is money kind of thing. So
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you're doing client work for social media, they want that stuff pumped out quick. You know what I mean?
yeah, absolutely.
But I
Yeah.
guess if you're shooting 8K for only 30-second clips at a time, maybe it's not that big of a deal. I don't know.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you have a 30-second time limit on the 8K.
Yeah. Well, and I kind of equate it to I kind of equate 8K and 12K and all those Ks that are out
Yeah,
there
yep.
to like the Mac Tower that just came out, the Mac
Okay.
Pro, you know, to completely max that out, that is, I think it's around between 65 to $74,000, right?
Yeah,
Now let
so
me tell you,
yeah, it is.
that's like a Tesla truck, you know what I mean? Bring it back to
Yeah.
Tesla truck, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so the question really is like, are you going to be using that much of a computer? And
Right.
so for the R5, are you really going to be using that much of a camera? You know what I mean?
I hear you, man.
So,
I hear you.
what are your thoughts, man? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's this is a I think there's a lot of excitement around it. I mean, Twitter blew up right away,
Yeah. Mhm.
and like this is my dream camera, like all that coming out. But like you said, I think there's just going to be little quirks about it that are with all Canon cameras for video shooters. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah,
Like we
absolutely.
said, earlier, like Canon cameras are photo cameras with some video features.
Yep. Mhm.
They call it movie mode or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't this one, yes, it is geared towards video shooters with some of
Mhm.
these, announced specs and everything. But like you said, I think there's just going to be little quirks to it that
Yeah.
you might have to get over. I'm not sure. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
We'll
think
see.
I I think the two things that you're really gonna have to deal with is just the record limit. I mean, that's
Yeah.
they didn't talk about it in their live event or pre-recorded live event or whatever it was. Um, I think that's gonna push people away. I mean, because
Yeah.
I go back to like I said, it's like it's one thing to have something to shoot 4K or 8K, but if you can only shoot it for 30 seconds or 10 seconds or
Yeah.
5 minutes, I mean that's just a lot of work on a videographer. We just want to put something in our hand like the GH5 that doesn't have a record limit and just press
Right.
record and not have to
Let it
worry
go.
about anything else. Just let it buck.
Yeah. Well, I want to ask you guys watching, what's the most intriguing thing about the R5 for you? Let me know down in the
Hmm.
comments. What's the most intriguing thing about the Canon
Yeah.
R5 for you? Let me know down in the comments. Okay, Bobby, let's talk
Yes.
price. What do you think?
Yes.
A price was not announced. What do you
No. Nope.
think the price is going to be?
I want to ask you first.
Okay, I think it's going to be anywhere from $3,500 to $5,000, just
All
body
right.
only.
Okay. All right.
I don't
I
know.
I
I don't know my
I
I
think
don't know my Canon systems that well,
yes.
so it'll be interesting to see. But let me
Okay.
let me have it.
All right. So this is what I think. Okay. So the RP is at $1,000, right?
Yep.
I think last time I checked, the R is at 24.99, something around
Okay.
there. I think that they're gonna put the R5 at 36.99, and here's the reason why. Because they have to rival with so many other cameras.
Yep.
Like they have to rival with um, the Blackmagic Pocket. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
especially if this camera is meant for video, which it sounds like.
Which I just
Um,
saw. I just saw that the 6K um, version of the
yep.
Pocket came down in price.
Whoa. Ooh.
500 came down $500 at the
Ooh.
time
Well,
of this recording that we're recording right now. The day of this recording, it came down $500. 6K
huh.
version of the Pocket.
Interesting.
Yep.
I might have to go out and get one. No, I'm just playing. I
Yeah.
don't got that kind of money. But anyways, so they have to compete with Blackmagic. Fujifilm just released the X-T4, which is
Yep.
pretty cool camera.
That is a
Um,
cool looking camera.
yeah, and
Like
it
just
has
the
the
looks of
IBIS
it.
too.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
Um, they have to compete with Panasonic with the S1H. They have to compete with Sony as well. So
Yep.
not only are they competing with these guys for buyers, and for camera specs and stuff like that, but it's really they're competing within that price point as well.
Yeah.
So I think 36.99 body only. I mean, their lenses are already expensive, so
Well,
I don't know.
yeah,
They
you
could.
have those RF lenses, right? The RF line of lenses, and they're like
Whew,
they're pretty they're pretty pricey on those.
yeah,
I know you can adapt other lenses, but I mean the RF lenses look awesome. Don't get me wrong,
hmm,
look awesome, but I mean they're pricey. So I mean
yeah.
you're looking at over 5 grand if you are just starting.
Yeah, which is, I mean, I think there's, and I'll just hit on this real quick. I think if you're a starting filmmaker, or like if you're a gearhead, like I love looking at gear,
Yep.
but like I think the reality for me is it comes down to what's the expense of shooting. I
Right.
know that this camera can do 8K, 4K, 120, which is great, but I also know that there are cheaper options that can do stuff that is similar in quality, but I might lose out on a couple of features.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
Well,
I think you go ahead. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, you bring that up, and this might be a good time to bring this up. Is like, what does the R5 mean for content creators like you and me, who
Yeah.
we shoot on the GH5,
Yep.
and then also Sony users and all other users? Like, what does the R5 mean for content creators?
Yeah. I think it's like the R5 to me is like when YouTubers, I know there's a couple YouTubers out there that there's three of them that I know. I'm not gonna say names because I'm kind of jealous of them, that they shoot on Red,
Oh
you
yeah,
know, for their
of
YouTube
course.
channel.
Yeah.
But a lot of you, and I think there's different things to YouTube. Obviously, you have your client work, which I mean, this camera would be great for client work. If I'm just getting into video or even pictures, I wouldn't buy this camera. You got to have a
Yeah.
starting point. Um, but to me, this is like, for content creators, this is just and it's sad to say because it's an exciting camera. This is just another camera that's getting put in the pool, um, that is part of the competition. If you
Yeah.
have an R and you're like, oh, I already have the RF lenses and I have the money in my pocket to
Right.
bump up to this R5, go for it. if you're on another thing and you're like, oh man, that camera looks so dope, well, you're gonna have to pay you're gonna have to pay the price
Yeah.
for it. And so I
Yeah.
think it changes the game a little bit. But I just go back to, especially because I love Panasonic. I go back to, I think it was 2 years ago when they just announced the S1H or whatever, or it was before they announced the S1H. I'm pretty sure. Watching a live event and they said 8K is in their future.
Yeah.
So whether it's
Yeah.
the GH5 or whether it's another full frame camera, I mean, I'm planning on sticking with Panasonic. Um, I
Yeah. I was
mean,
going to ask you, I was going to put you on the spot. Does the R5, are you going to jump ship?
I have two cameras right now. I have my GH5 for client work, and for anytime I shoot with Caleb, I gotta take out the GH5. I mean, I
Love
can't
it.
be shooting on my M50 when Caleb's around.
Oh, man.
um,
Blushing.
but if I had the money, I've been looking at the RP. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. Switching from my Canon
M50.
uh, M50. Yeah, switching from my Canon M50 to the Canon RP or
Yep.
even the Canon M6 Mark II.
Okay.
But as far as my client work and stuff like that, I mean Panasonic all the way.
Right. Yeah.
Just because it's the price point is right where I need it. Where when the time comes for me to buy another one, it's not gonna
Absolutely.
break the bank
Totally.
like the Canon R5 will.
Yeah. Yeah. You better save up for that one if you want it. Well, I want to ask the viewers, what system do you currently shoot on? Let me know. Let me know down in the comments. What system do you currently shoot on? Let me know down in the comments. Well, Bobby,
Yes, I got one
we're
question for you.
yeah. Please.
Okay. So what in your thoughts, what does the R5 mean for content creators?
Oh man, I didn't even think about this. I was the one asking the questions.
Well, hey, I gotta
Just
put them
joking.
back.
Just joking. Okay, so here's what I think. I don't know if it is the ideal camera for the
Mm,
average content creator.
yes.
Will it be a great camera? Absolutely. I think it will be a fantastic camera. I think it will be a great camera for a select few of content creators, but I don't know for the average content creator, I don't know if it'll be the best system to use.
Yeah.
I even think maybe the EOS R might even be better just for the average content creator. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Just because you're not dealing with some of those other things like 422, 10-bit, that type of thing.
Ah,
If you just want to make content on a regular basis, like somebody who, I don't know, might have there's a lot of makeup channels or there's a lot of cooking channels,
yep.
like is the R5 going to be ideal for those situations? I don't know.
Yeah.
I like my GH5. I'll probably have a GH5 for a long, long time. The R5 intrigues me. I mean,
Yes.
I'd be lying if I didn't say that if it doesn't intrigue me, but it does. Um, that autofocus intrigues me.
Mm-hmm. Because
You
we don't
know,
have it.
yeah, because we don't have it, so I don't know what it's like using it. I've been on like a Canon 6D, and even a Canon 6D had really good autofocus.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's places for this camera, absolutely. For the average content creators, I don't know if the GH5 is better. I don't know. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's or Sony A7 III. I mean, that still
Yeah.
has great autofocus. I don't like the menu or file systems of the Sonys, but
Or not even
um,
having a flip out screen.
oh yeah, yeah. In some cases, not even having a flip out screen. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, I don't know. For content creators, I think it might be a little much,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's going to be a great camera, and I think a lot of
Yeah.
people are going to absolutely love it, and I think there's going to be some great content made with it. So
Caleb, I think
does that answer your question?
that does answer my question. I promise this is the last thing I'm gonna say.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Uh, You know, they didn't mention in the video that this camera was going to have C-Log, which is Canon's log.
Yep.
So I think it would be funny that it doesn't have C-Log because Canon's going to mess up somewhere. And I'm just trying to figure out where they're going to mess up. Where's the mess up?
Yep.
So it'd be funny for them to put out a camera like the R5 and then like, someone in the back just like, hey, did we put C-Log on that firmware? Bill, I told you to put C-Log on the firmware. Why did you? You know, kind of thing. And so,
that would be funny.
Yeah.
No, you know what they'll do? They'll take a you know, a little play out of the Panasonic playbook, and they'll make you order it separately, and it comes in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Order the
You already
C-Log
paid
separately.
$5,000 for the camera. Now you got to pay another $2,000.
Comes in on a little piece of cardboard.
Yeah.
Oh man, Bobby, thanks so much for this convo, man. It's good.
Thanks for having me, man.
It's good chatting cameras and having a conversation. For you viewers, thanks so much for watching. It'd be awesome if you stuck around and maybe checked out the videos that are popping up at the bottom of the screen. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.